All right, everyone, welcome back to the Reaver Approach channel. Today, I am covering probably my most asked question, which is going to be a full kit breakdown. I've done a few videos on just some bits and pieces of my gear, but today we're going to be going through it all in a pretty in-depth detail. I'll be adding chapters into this as well. So if you're just looking for a particular piece of kit, feel free to utilize that chapter select. That way you don't have to watch this whole thing. It might be a little bit of a longer video, but for those of you who are looking for an in-depth dive into what I use, this video is for you. First things first, that is going to be the plate carrier. This is probably what I get asked about the most, so we're gonna dive right into that first. This is by Husar, which is a Polish company. However, Acelink Armor, which is an American-based company, has picked this plate carrier up, so now you can get it a lot easier. Previously, you would have to go through the Polish company, do international shipping, and it took a really long time to get here. But now you can get it through Acelink. This is the KIRYS by Husar, but under Acelink Armor, it is marketed as the Skele-tac. I really recommend just going through Acelink Armor. It will get here a lot faster. You're not gonna have to pay international shipping. There is a little bit of a markup through Acelink Armor. I'm assuming just because they're selling another company's product. I will refer to it as a Skele-tac from now on, just so it's a little bit easier for everybody, and I think it's kind of a cooler name and it's a little bit easier for me to say. So this plate carrier is unique because it's a very skeletonized plate carrier. I really like it because it doesn't have a lot of extra material on it, so in the summer, or if you're looking for something that's a little bit low profile, I like that it's skeletonized because there's not as much fabric on it, which means in the summer it's not going to be quite so hot. However, that does come at the cost of comfort. Because of that, I highly recommend getting some sort of plate backer. You can get them through T-Rex Arms. Mine are through First Spear. They're about $20–30, and they do make a really big difference if you are running a plate without a lot of padding built in or no padding built in. Originally, I ran this with steel. I don't recommend steel. That's a whole nother topic. You do you though. I'm not gonna judge you for it. However, it was really uncomfortable like that. I had to get those backers immediately, and it did make a difference. It means there's gonna be a lot more airflow into it, especially in those summer months, and it does have a little bit of a cushion built in. It does have quick release buckles on the cummerbund, as well as the shoulder straps. I really like that because you can swim in and out of it really easily without having to pull the Velcro, and I think that just makes it last a lot longer because Velcro is a perishable item. I don't think the quick release clips are as good as the Blaze systems. However, they are really good. I've used them for about 5 years now, haven't had any issues with it. The cummerbund is extremely easy to adjust. It's just some Velcro on the back. You don't have to pull up any flaps. I really like that. It does mean it's a little bit more exposed to the elements, but like I said, I have not had any problems with it yet. The cummerbund is very skeletonized. Once again, that adds a lot of breathability and makes the rig very lightweight. So if you're gonna be running anything large, usually you have to like duct tape it down to make sure it isn't flopping around as much because it's only those 2 pieces of MOLLE that it can go through here, as you can see on the left and then on the right. So if you're planning on running a lot, then this might not be the best option for you, but I don't think that's why most people get this plate carrier. Usually it's a little bit more minimalist, so there isn't a lot going on to it anyway. Within this rig, I use HESCO plates. There's a lot of really good options out there. Run what you feel like would work. I don't think any form of soft armor is going to work really well in here, just how the way it is set up. You could do it, but I think the rig needs a hard plate on the inside in order for it to give the structural integrity to be able to run stuff with a lot of weight on here. So if you're planning on running soft armor in here, I would recommend getting something else. The cummerbund is not set up out of the box to have side plates. However, you can get side plate bags to put onto the cummerbund. So if you're looking for a little bit more protection, then go ahead and do that and it will facilitate that, no problem. Something as far as my plate carrier, how I've got mine set up is on my back, I have a square plate. When I was purchasing plates, I thought it'd be a good idea to have a square plate on my back to offer a little bit more protection. However, I would not recommend that because the corners go right into your shoulder blades. So as you're pulling your arms back or moving back and forth, the corners go into that. So learn from my mistakes, don't do that. Next is going to be my mag carriers. I really, how many times can I say really here? I really love the GCODE Softshell Scorpions. That is what I run right here. I like these because you can run a lot of different magazines without changing out your rig because they've got elastic built into it. It makes it really flexible for the magazines that you're taking in. It can take all the way from the steel case STANAG mags all the way up to 308 mags like I'm running right here. AK mags fit in just fine, and really anything between those you're going to have no problem with. This is a very similar design to something like an HSGI Taco. However, I view these as superior. They are rubberized, so that means it gives it a little bit more retention, especially on those regular sized mags, and it does make sure it doesn't retain water, and it makes it easier to clean. I've used this rig a lot for paintballing, so it's really nice just to hose it off, and it's not going to be holding on to that. Not that it matters, but just something to keep in mind. I really like them. They are adjustable on the bottom, so if you want to increase the retention, you go ahead and you grab the shock cord and pull it down and then tighten up the buckle. And if you want it to be a little bit looser, then you'll just do that in reverse. I really like that because you can adjust the retention that you want for your magazines, and especially for the type of gun that you're running. It makes it very, very customizable. I've never been a huge fan of like a one size fits all. However, this really does well if you're looking for an open top style mag carrier. A lot of comments that I get is, well, you're going to be dumping your magazines all over the place. And I'm sure there's some truth to that. However, if you adjust these correctly to make sure they're tight on those magazines, you're not really going to have those problems. I use this setup for a lot of like mag fed paintball, which means it's a magazine fed paintball, just like an AR. And I've done all sorts of scenario games. I'm running around, I'm jumping around, I'm going prone. I have dropped mags before. It is a very limited number with the amount that I've run, so long as you have it set up correctly. If you are looking for a little bit more retention, or if you want to make them jumpable, I think is the term, what I would recommend doing is drilling a hole into the front and back, and then getting a little bit of shock cord and bungee, going through, tying it around. That way you can pull it on over the top and you can have your magazines captured and a little bit more retention if that's something you're looking for. That would be like a $2 or $3 mod to give you that. And if you don't want to run them, you can just have it pulled to the side and you'll be able to be working it really easily. Something that I also appreciate about these is re-indexing is very simple. You can pull the magazine out and put a new magazine in, and it retains its shape. They are set up in a way that you can attach pouches to the front as well. As you can see here, they've got the pseudo molly on the front. That enables you to attach their pistol magazine pouches to the front, or anything else if you want that. I don't have that set up on my rig because I want to keep it as flat as possible so I can go prone a lot easier. And I don't really need a lot of pistol mags, but if you have a lot of like gizmos and gadgets, you can put all sorts of things in there and it's all right in front of you. On the left-hand side, I have these ITW Fastmags. These hold extra pistol mags if I need them, or some sort of sub-gun mags. Like I said earlier on the cummerbund, if you're having something with a lot of weight onto it, you usually have to add a little bit of duct tape or something because it can't weave through 3 layers of molly, and so it has a little bit of wobble left and right if you have something that's tall and heavy. So adding a little bit of duct tape from the top and then wrapping it around the bottom just make sure it doesn't cant out from your body and keeps it really close to the plate carrier. So if you're running something like that, that's just my little bit of a pro tip, the little mod to make it a little bit more usable. Further back here, I've got a smoke grenade here in this pouch. This is just a double M4 pouch and it fits the Mil-X smoke grenades perfectly. I think these are going to be the best a civilian can get, close to like the M18 smoke grenades. They have a pretty good amount of output. There's a couple videos on them online and civilians can get a hold of these. So if you're looking for something a little bit more for concealment rather than marking, then something like the Mil-X smoke grenades would be a good one. Further back here, we've got my radio. This is a 511 radio pouch, and I'll be completely honest, I fucking hate it. I originally used a double stack M4 pouch and I felt like it worked really well. And then I bought this radio pouch, installed it, and I really don't like it. I just feel like getting it in and out is really difficult because of the bungee that's on there. The radio that I'm running is just a typical Baofeng, which in some sort of like conflict is gonna get me drone strike.
Predator missile ready for launch.
But if I'm just talking to my friends and, you know, LARPing out here on the flat range, it does the trick. Something to be concerned about. But if you're just doing scenarios and stuff like that, it'll be just fine. How I've got this set up is I have it routed through the back of my plate carrier, which is mounted up to my push-to-talk right here on my shoulder. My ear protection can go and plug right in. And then I have an antenna rerouting kit, and I have the whip antenna mounted to the back of my plate carrier. I did this because I didn't like the antenna going up into my armpit all the time. You can get the little snubby ones as well, but I feel like that reduces the range down a bit. So I went ahead and got the whip antenna, put it on the back, and got a $10 rerouting kit, and I feel like it's worked really well. On my right hand side, I keep relatively clear. I have a K-bar TDI knife. This is traditionally mounted with just a belt clip, and what I've done is I've wrapped some duct tape around the top and bottom and then just made a little bit of an X over the top of it in order to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. I've had it on for about 4 years now and it's not fallen off, and that little duct tape mod really did the trick. Further back is a pepper spray grenade. How these work, these are available to civilians, which I highly recommend. It is essentially pepper spray that's a little bit more aerosolized, and when you click it, it stays on just like some sort of pepper spray, and then you can throw it in and it has a little bit of a clouding effect. So if you need a clear room or trying to stop people from following you, whatever situation you have dreamed up in the great Minecraft war. Back even further here is a Thyrm cell vault. This stores extra batteries. I like to have extra batteries on my kit in a couple different places because batteries are always dying. These ones are set up for some night vision batteries as well as some CR123As, which all my optics and flashlights take, as well as my laser devices. I really like these because it's a nice organized way to keep some batteries on your kit. They are also sealed so no water is gonna ingress into them, and it keeps your batteries protected. If you wanna shove in other little utility kits or survival kits into it as well, it's a great and easy way to have something else stored on your kit for a very low profile. Right up top here, I have a Juggernaut impact case attached to just the Juggernaut mount for the impact case. This enables me to use ATAK maps or control my drone. Most of the time when I'm filming, the thing that I use it most for is just seeing my viewfinder. So it's nothing so high speed or anything like that, but if you are running ATAK or maps, it does have that right in front of you. It flips down and you can have all that in front of you. You can also just click it off if you want to pull it off, utilize it for whatever you're doing, and then click it right back onto your kit, flip it down, and you are set. Last thing for my plate carrier is just going to be a flashbang from IWA International. These are available to civilians, but you have to fill out your PPC certificate, which you can do online through their site. Last little detail on this, it does have standard Swift clips available on the plate carrier. So if you're using any sort of placard, you can do that. Normally there's a bunch of Velcro on top, so it would facilitate that really well. Or you can use the ecosystem that either AceLink Armor or Husar provides, and there is a lot to mount on whatever placard that you're using, so that is pretty universal. They do have back panels available as well. I believe it's a proprietary system, so you buy something, it attaches to the back, and it's got a couple zippers on it, and then you can attach what they call their map pack. I've never utilized those just because I'd rather run a backpack and I like to keep it a little bit more low profile, but there are options available to you. Finally, if you're looking to change up your plate carrier a lot, if you're setting up for different areas or camouflages, they have what's called plate bags. These are bags that your plate goes into because the plate carrier is extremely skeletonized. So if you have a different plate bag on the inside, green, tan, black, multicam, then you can essentially change the color of your plate carrier. That's really cool because if you're changing for different environments or loadouts, or you're just LARPing really hard and you want to match really well, then that's a really good option for you. They are about $80, so honestly, you could probably sew them yourself if you wanted to, or wrap your plate in something else for a lot cheaper. That is available if it's something you're looking for. Next is going to be my belt setup. This is a very old setup. I don't think it's the most advantageous with the new systems that we have available today. I do believe a two-piece Velcro belt is going to be the best belt that you can get for just a standard setup. I think that's the easiest setup, most comfortable, and the most stable. This is not that setup. How I've got mine set up is I've got an inner belt, which is just an Elite Survival Systems belt, and then I have another Elite Survival Systems Riggers belt out on top over it, and then I use two keepers in order to make sure it holds my belt steady. The problem is without the Velcro or something like that, or the keepers, when you're running around, your belt is going to be shifting left and right. That's super uncomfortable, and it means your stuff is going to be falling out, but usually it's just bouncing around. You don't really want that. So I've just got these two keepers wrapped around the belt to hold it a little bit more steady. Long-term plan is probably going to be upgrade to something like the Ronin Sentry belt. I know 511 has a Maverick belt. I haven't looked into that too much, but there's a lot of options for you. If you're going to set it up, I highly recommend getting a two-piece belt, and I think it'll pay dividends in the long run. As far as what I have on my belt, I have two GCODE Softshell Scorpions on the left-hand side for pistol mags. These can hold multi-tools, flashlights, anything like that. So they are pretty flexible on what they can take. So if you don't want to be running those pistol mags, you just need a multi-tool or something like that, they do the job really, really well. Further back here, we have two rifle pouches. Once again, these are GCODE Softshell Scorpions. I run a lot of different guns, so it makes it a lot easier to have a belt that can run a lot of different type of magazines. On top of this belt is a CRKT Triumph. This is just a utility blade. I want to say it's like $60, $70. It's nothing extraordinary. If I've got some knife guys in here, they're probably going to be like, oh, that's a shitty knife. It's just a utility knife. I don't use it for anything special. It opens ammo boxes, stabs pumpkins. To attach it, all I did was use some zip ties. Further back here in a double M4 pouch is just extended medical, and then here on my 6 o'clock is going to be a Thyrm dark vault. This is originally set up to hold comms and things like that. However, I didn't utilize that, and I just wanted something sealed to hold some of the more sensitive medical items. I believe in having loads of different medical, and this is sealed from the outside elements. I'm in the rain a lot, or mud, and just make sure that those medical items last a little bit longer, and those really sensitive items aren't going to be getting a bunch of dirt and shit into them. Moving on to my right hand side, I have my multi-tool located on the front of my belt. This is in a horizontal, I believe they call it a paramedic sheath. And this just makes sure it's horizontal on my belt, so it's not going up into my guts if I'm leaning over, and it makes it a little bit more comfortable. This is just a Gerber multi-tool, nothing too fantastic, but I think if you're going to be going to the range or on your kit, you should have a multi-tool of some kind. It's going to be your most utilized thing on your kit. I can pretty much guarantee that. A little bit further on my right hand side, I have my holster, and then further back, I have another cell vault by Thyrm. This has more CR123As. Once again, is going to hold batteries for my lights, optics, night vision, things like that. A little bit further back is a Blue Force Gear Marco. This holds chem lights. If you just want to be marking stuff, I don't do anything like super high speed, but it is nice when you're doing some night stuff to have a small glow stick you can just drop out. If you're marking shooting lines, you're marking a piece of kit, you're going to be putting it on the back of someone's helmet, and it's just nice to have a nice stack of those on your belt that you can utilize at any time. They are pretty convenient. And finally, the last item on my belt is going to be a banger pouch. I have a smoke grenade in this pouch, but you can put another flashbang, really whatever you want into that pouch. The pouch is nothing fantastic. I couldn't tell you what it is. It's probably straight from Amazon. I haven't needed anything too Gucci just to hold something like that. And what I did is I just cut off the top Velcro because I didn't need a pouch that covered it. I've never had an issue with it falling out. The spoon goes over the outside and kind of clips onto it, so not that big of a deal. And that's it as far as the gear is concerned. Now we're going to jump into some of the clothing and some of the other accessories and small things about the kit. As far as the pants are concerned, a lot of people ask if they're actually Cries. No, I don't want to spend 350 bucks on a pair of Cries. These are through Emerson gear, straight from Amazon, and they've done a really, really good job. They're comfortable, they've got elastic in all the right places, and they've held up really, really well. I purchased these in 2020, and I've utilized these for about once a week since then, so for 4 years, and they've held up. However, if you're going to be working with things that you want a no melt, no drip material, then I recommend getting something specific made for that, because if it's exposed to fire or something like that, it's probably going to melt and then attach itself to your skin. So if you need something purpose built for that, I wouldn't recommend getting these. I purchased about 4 pairs through them, just in a variety of different colors, and they've held up really, really well. No need to replace them at this point. I'm sure I can get another couple of years out before something starts to wear out. They are flexible. The knee pads are adjustable, just like you'd expect. There's a lot of different Amazon ones out there and kind of just repro knockoffs, whatever. I can't vouch for all those, but I can vouch for these ones. They've been really, really good. As far as the ear protection that I use, these are M32s by Earmores, and they've been awesome. They are a good balance between a low grade, like really budget, and something like a pair of Comtac 2s. They're about $90 to $100 on Amazon. They come in a couple different colors. I've utilized them for about a year and a half now. I purchased a pair of Repro Comtacs at one point in time, and no matter what, the mount's always broke and cracked. These ones are a lot more sturdy, which makes sure that you can throw them into your range bag and they're not going to be busted. That really kind of stuck because they were about $80 to $100 as well. They have the standard down leads for just a NATO Nexus plug, so you can plug it into all the standard push to talk, and they've got volume amplification that you would expect. I'm not going to hear a cricket fart, but you can have a conversation, and they also bring the volume down quite a bit. I believe they make mounts for these that attach to helmets as well. I'm probably going to replace my contacts on my helmet, hold these, because I don't like the mounts that I have on my helmet. As far as sunglasses are concerned, I get some questions about that as well. These are just zero exposure sunglasses. They're $20 on Amazon, and these are, I believe, the magma color. I should probably use something that's a little bit safer for shooting. These are not certified for shootings. If you know of a company that makes red sunglasses like this that are ballistically rated, every now and again I get questions about my hat. This is a Notch hat. It's by the company Notch. These are nice because they have a notch built into the brim of the hat, which means you can have the notch fit into the arms of your sunglasses, so your hat can sit a little bit lower. I like my hats to be sitting as low as possible, and so if you're looking for something like that, they make 2 different styles, which are like the Wayfarer styles, which are like, the Ray-Ban styles, as well as just a traditional cut. As far as my holster is concerned, this is a GCODE OSH holster. This is a level 0 retention holster, which clips onto the GCODE Mule platform. I really like it because of the modularity. It works very similar to the Savariland QLS design, so you can just put it in different places. If you you want to be having different kits and setups. The GCODE Mule sits a little bit low for my taste, so I'll probably be changing to something else, probably like a Safariland mid-ride, but it has done really, really well. But I do believe it sits just a little bit low. I'll probably find a way to mod it to shorten the strap a little bit and bring it up a little bit further so it doesn't sit so low. If you're gonna be doing any type of serious work, I would not recommend a level 0 retention holster. I would recommend at least like a level 2, level 3, something like that. I'm still trying to find a holster that works with my VP9 with my current setup. GCODE offered one and I was buying a concealed carry one anyway. They had a sale, I picked it up for like half off. So temporary measure, not long term. I wouldn't recommend it long term unless it's just for like regular range use. But if you're planning on using it for anything serious, or you're going to be running around a lot, airsoft games or whatever, I don't recommend the level 0 because you'll probably lose your pistol. Something you could do if you want a little bit more retention onto it is drill a hole in it and then put a piece of shot cord through the holes and then snap that on top. You're not going to be doing any quick draws with a very cheap and easy mod if that's all you have at the moment. So my first video that I did on YouTube is my helmet setup for night vision. A quick synopsis of it is I have RNVGs from Night Vision Incorporated. These are awesome. I really like the white phosphor into them. I have Peltor Comtacs attached with a Peltor mount onto the side. My big problem with these is they don't sit snug. They don't create a really good seal. It's almost like they're not tight enough. These are the name brand ones, so it's not like I've got some sort of repro. However, they're just not that tight, so usually I have to double up on hearing protection, but I recommend running your hearing protection on your helmet if you're using it for night vision because it adds a lot more stability with the weight of the night visions. On the back, I just have a repro Mohawk, which holds my counterweight as well as a couple extra batteries. And then I have a Surefire admin light up top here. With this, I also have a Wilcox G24 mount. These are extremely disappointing because I bought a repro one the first time. It had a lot of slop to it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy the name brand one. They are $500. So that hurts the wallet a bit, but there's still a bunch of slop to it. That really sucks because you're paying $500 and there's a lot of slop and wobble to it. The helmet in itself is a Team Wendy Exfil. This is a really great bump helmet. It does not offer any ballistic protection. My whole purpose for this was to hold the night vision. I used a Cry nightcap before. It does the trick, but you're gonna have some pressure points. Primarily the reason why I got this is because of the retention system that's built in. The Team Wendy BOA system offers the most comfortable and tight retention system. Even if you have a different helmet, you can put in the Team Wendy BOA system. So if you're looking to add a lot more retention to your helmet, I would highly recommend it, especially if you have night vision because it just wants to move around a lot if it's on your head without that really, really good system. So in a couple of my videos, you'll see that I'm wearing some form of poncho. A lot of people ask about this as well. This is a Hazard 4 Poncho Vila. I really like this because you can just throw it on over your kit and then it keeps all your stuff from getting absolutely soaked, and then you can flip it up and over your shoulder when you want quick access to your gear. It's a really, really nice piece of kit to throw into your bag if you're going to be having some adverse weather. What I've done is I've cut down the front area of it in order to make sure that I have less material up front so I can put it up on over my shoulder. If I'm doing a lot of stuff, usually what I do is I throw it over my shoulder and then wrap the inside of it around my rifle sling, and that's gonna make sure it isn't flopping in and out. They do make a liner as well, so if you're doing a lot of cold weather stuff, you can double up on with a fleece liner and then the waterproof exterior, and that's going to give you a lot of protection from the elements if you're in that hard snow and really, really cold weather. It also makes it really easy because you can don and doff it very quickly. So if the weather is changing on you, you're packing for a couple days, really great accessory, and it packs down into a very small package. Next is going to be a respirator that I wear in some of my more hardcore LARP videos. This is a Opscore SOTR mask, which is a particle filter. It's not going to be able to filter out any sort of sarin or any high-level chemicals, but it can do an okay job against tear gas and things like that. However, your eyes are going to be exposed, so if you're going to use that for something like that, make sure you have something that covers your eyes. These have replaceable filters. They are pretty pricey. I don't know if they're worth it. You can get a full-on gas mask for the price of this. They do have options that connect to radios. It will be an extra, I think, $70 or $80 to set it up with an internal microphone, but you can set that up to work with mics. As far as what gloves do I wear, I honestly hate wearing gloves. I hate the loss of dexterity. The one pair of gloves that I can truly recommend is the 511 Hard Times gloves. I've had these gloves since 2013, and I have worn the absolute shit out of them. It is goat skin leather.
Impressive. Very nice.
on the palm and it's all one continuous piece, which means that you're going to have less stitching, which is going to remove that dexterity. They discontinued these gloves for a while, but they have brought them back. I don't know if the new version is as good as the old version. From what I've seen online, they don't quite look the same, but that's probably going to be something that I check out here in the future. Something that's really nice about these is they do have the split knuckle design. So if you are looking for something with a little bit more protection, you want that hard knuckle, but you don't want a big piece of PVC attached to your knuckles, which kind of stop you from closing your hand all the way. The split knuckle design adds a lot of comfort to that. I don't know where my second glove went. My cat really likes the leather and he likes to run off with them. So fair warning, your cat might be a little bit of a fiend for it. As far as what weapons do I use, this is a HK VP9 Tactical with a Parker Mountain Machine Compensator, a Surefire X300 Turbo, and a Trijicon RMR. I think the RMRs are becoming a little bit antiquated with the amount of new pistol optics that are coming around. The small window makes it a little bit harder to track your dots, especially under recoil and you're moving really fast. It still absolutely does the job. The really dark tint kind of sucks as well. Currently, my kit is set up to be running a battle rifle. This is a Skele-tac RFB outfitted with a Lucky Irishman rail. This absolutely revolutionizes the platform. The RFB isn't very modular, but putting on this rail system which replaces the entire handguard, and I think it transformed it into one of my favorite guns. Up front, I have an LS321G from Holosun. This is an infrared laser and illuminator, as well as a primary arms ACSS Raptor. This is a great budget scope as far as clarity goes. I don't think you can beat the primary arms options, and I have this fitted in a set of Arrow 1.5-inch rings, and which brings it up right about perfect for me. Why can't I see anything? With this, I also have a Vortex Viper. This is a very old pistol sight that I had kind of just sitting around. It was on my Glock originally, and I just wanted to have a small red dot on here. I have this attached on a Vortex offset mount along with a riser. That way I can bring it up and that's at my sight line a little bit easier. All right, and I believe that covers everything. I know this was a much longer video. I want to be able to catch everything because usually I get a lot of questions about it within my shorts. So now we have a full-length video for it. If I missed something, let me know. I know that I have a bunch of shit on me. If this was helpful and maybe you got some ideas on how to set up your kit, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Something to remember, this is how I've gotten my kit set up. It might not be the best for you, but absolutely, if you want to use this as a springboard for setting up your kit, please do that. Just make sure to go and actually run and utilize your kit. That way you can find out the things that work for you and the things that don't work for you.